Welcome in or welcome back. I am starting a new craft, Spun Cotton Crafts, and I filmed this whole thing from start to finish, and we're going to go along on this journey together. I did voiceovers because it was easier than trying to explain everything that I was doing while I was doing it. So since this is my first one, I am doing it the easy way and using styrofoam balls as my armature, if you will. And it looks like I wanted to show you my fairy tree too. I have been making fairy trees on a much smaller scale than what I did for the bookshelf. I will also have a video coming out of me doing that. To make things easier on myself, I did use a wooden skewer and stick that through the bottom styrofoam ball to be able to handle the snowman better, because I'm going to be spinning the cotton all around it, and this just makes it easier. This is the cornstarch mixture that you mix together to use with spun cotton. It dries to a hard finish, and you can also use PVA glue or school glue mixed with water, but the cornstarch mixture does help the cotton not stick to your fingers as badly as it does with the glue. I do have a future video coming out on how you make this cornstarch mixture, and there I was just showing you that I am just using regular cotton balls because for this first one I'm just using what I have. You do have to pick a soft bristled brush because you don't want to tear your cotton when you're putting it on your armature. So I'm picking out a soft bristled brush. And here I'm just unrolling the cotton balls so that they're long pieces of cotton, and then you will take those pieces of cotton and just tear them into small sections so that you can have workable, buildable cotton for your armature. After I felt like I had enough cotton balls rolled out, because I do have more, I can always unroll more if I need them, I go ahead and start prepping the surface to start building my cotton. You take your starch mixture, you put it on your styrofoam or your wire armature just to create a sticky surface for your cotton to stick to. As you can see, I'm just tearing off small sections of cotton, and then you put your cornstarch mixture over top of that, so you're layering. And here I'm just showing you the cotton on the bottom, and you're just going to continue to do that. You're just going to build and build and build. And here, as you can see, I'm done with the bottom of the snowman. Now we're going to start working on the middle of him. And now we're moving on to the very tip top, his head. Now, one thing I did want to mention with the starch mixture that I didn't mention earlier is once you mix this up, it's only good for about a week. In between uses, you do need to leave it in the refrigerator, and it's very easy to mix up. So every week I just make a new batch. And just like that, we are done spinning all the cotton around our snowman. Now, these crafts do go very quickly. The longest part of it is drying, because between layers they do need to dry. I did have this piece of styrofoam block hanging around, so I used that to put my wooden skewer in just to have them sit up to be able to dry. You can lay them down to dry. I just did it this way because I knew it would dry quicker that way. I would say it takes about 24 hours for the starch mixture to dry completely. Okay, so we're back the next day, and I did want to make a little hat for my snowman, but I didn't want it to be like a traditional snowman hat. I wanted it to be a little bit unique, so I took some of my cardstock and cut that down. I also wanted to use the cardstock to make like a platform for my snowman to sit on, so I'm using cardstock for that as well. Also, that little, you can see it over there to the left of the screen, the little cardboard circular, that is my platform that the snowman is going to sit on. Now, I don't know what these scissors are called. They probably do have a name in the craft world, and I have all different shapes of them. You can use them to cut out all different types of designs in your paper. So I'm using this design for the kind of like little frilly thing that I'm going to be putting around the perimeter of the platform for the snowman to sit on, as well as for the hat that I'm going to be putting on top of my snowman. And this is what you're left with once you use the scissors for any type of paper. One length of cardstock wouldn't fit all the way around the circle, so I did cut 2 for the outside perimeter of the platform, and I also cut 2 for the hat just to have an extra. This is the hat. I did want it to be blue, so I'm painting it blue with my marker, and I wanted the platform to be pink, so you will see me paint the platform circular fence, whatever you want to call it, pink. And I did color both sides pink as well as both sides of the hat blue. You can see the hat over in the top right there above the silicone mat. Now I did want the little fence area that I'm going to put around the platform to be glittery, so I'm using this glitter and this glue stick. The glue stick was absolutely horrible. I will not be using that glue stick again. I've had it for absolute years. It's probably too old to use. I mean, it worked, but it was a mess. And from there, all I did was just sprinkle the glitter on there. I did put a piece of paper underneath it so I could, you know, have something to catch the glitter. And this is what it ended up looking like. One thing I loved about the Spun Cotton crafts is they are a vintage craft. It started in the 19th century in Germany, and it started with people making spun cotton ornaments for their Christmas trees or just ornaments to adorn their homes with out of spun cotton. You can make it look antiqued with coffee, and that's what I am doing here. I just have plain black coffee, and I'm going to cover my snowman in coffee. And once you do this, you do have to let it dry for another 24 hours. Here we are later that same afternoon after my little strips of paper that I cut out with the glitter has dried. I went ahead and hot glued those onto my platform. And like I said earlier, I did have to use 2 strips of paper because one strip wasn't long enough. So here I'm just measuring how much of that one little strip of paper I need and adding that so that the little fence would go all the way around. And here we have our little platform for our snowman to sit on. Now we are going to be embellishing this later. And in true Tiffany fashion, I did forget to film a lot of this, but I am going to explain what I did. So for his arms, you can see I'm using wire. I am going to be painting these later because I don't want them to be silver. I'm taking hot glue and just gluing a little bit of glue there to put the wire into so they won't come out. As you can see, I did finish the little hat for his head, and for his eyes and his mouth, I used just black beads with school glue, PVA glue, to just glue on his face. And for his little carrot nose, I used a wooden kebab skewer and just cut that down so that the tip was the only part that I needed. Painted it orange, and I glued that to his little face for his little carrot nose. To paint his arms so that they're not silver, I'm just using acrylic craft paint, and I'm just using a little paintbrush, and I'm going to paint those black. I think they look much better black. They look much more authentic, like twigs. And here's a close-up for you. He does have one little button that's kind of off there, which I think is cute. It makes him look unique. And as you can see, the coffee does dry pretty light. And now I'm going to take some book pages and glue that to the bottom of my platform just so it covers up that cardboard. Instead of just cutting straight lines, I wanted to make it a little bit more unique. So I'm going to tear the book pages, and then I'm going to cut where I need to cut to make it fit in a circular pattern. And I'm just going to use school glue, or you could use PVA glue, really any type of glue that you wanted to use to stick the book pages to the bottom. Or you could use newspaper, magazine paper, whatever your little heart desires. I'm going to cover the bottom of the platform with glue first to give me a sticky layer to put my book pages down on. Then I'm going to arrange the book pages on there like I want them, and then put another layer of school glue on top of that, kind of like decoupage. The next thing I did, I wanted to make my snowman sparkly. And I didn't have any spray adhesive, so I improvised by mixing a little bit of school glue with some water to make it a little liquidy. And I'm going to use that and brush it all over my snowman and then cover him with glitter. And here he is all glittered up. Now we're just going to let him sit and dry for a little while. After he was all dry, it was time to put him on the platform. Now I did have to be careful when I was taking the skewer off of the bottom because some of the cotton did stick to the skewer, and it was okay. I just put it back where it needed to go. Plus we're going to be gluing him on top of the platform, so you're not even really going to see it. But I just took some hot glue. You can see the cotton kind of hanging down there, but I just took some hot glue and put him on his little platform. I did want to add some snow around Mr. Snowman on the platform, so I started out with putting some school glue, just brushing it on the platform so that I could stick an initial layer of snow on there, and I just sprinkled it on there with my hands. Now this ended up not being enough glitter, or not glitter, but snow for my liking, so I did end up adding a whole lot more later. I also wanted to give him a Christmas tree, so I had these little pink Christmas trees with peppermint bases from 2 or 3 Christmases ago. I've never really even used them for Christmas. I just have always had them in my craft room to use in crafts. So I wanted to add this, so I did glue him a little Christmas tree for his little platform. I also wanted to add some of the iridescent snow onto the tree itself, so I just took my glue gun, added a few dollops of glue, and just sprinkled the iridescent snow on there. I did that on all sides of the Christmas tree. I just simply used my glue gun and glued the Christmas tree over behind the shoulder of Mr. Snowman, so if he turned his head, which, you know, he really can't do that, but in my imagination, turn his head and have a little pink cute Christmas tree behind him. And there you have it, guys. This is my first ever attempt at spun cotton crafts. I wanted to go easy peasy my first try. I think he turned out so cute. Hope you enjoyed coming along. Much more crafting to come. All those YouTubey things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!